10:30, so we're gonna call this meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Words.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, just a friendly reminder, this is a public budget hearing, so let's stay on topic, so we don't kind of wander around and go through everything we don't need to, so. So pledge allegiance, roll call, please.
Mr. Bale,
Here.
Mr. Horton, Mrs. Showerman here, Mr. Scatella,
Here.
Mr. Spagle, Mr. Winarski,
Here,
Chairman Shank.
Here. So the hearing of the public, we're gonna allow 3 minutes per person. So just please give us your name and municipality. We'll do the in-house first, and then we'll work through the online phone. So. Floor is whoever would like to speak.
Good morning. My name is Danny Jones. I'm the CEO for the Greater Area Community Action Committee. And I just come on council today that we would like to share with you the impact that the proposed cuts of an existing budget would have on the services that we provide throughout the community. We feel it's important that you understand that or get a feel for that and have the proper questions to ask as we move forward in this process. I'm going to be very brief, but I will turn it over to those individuals whose programs are going to be impacted so that they can let you know how, again, it will affect the client who we are currently serving with the funds that they currently exist.
Thank you. Give us your name. And we'll go from there. 3 minutes.
Hello, I'm Matthew Trott. I'm from Mill Creek, District 3. I have been privileged, if not blessed, for the past since 2015 to be the director of the Area Agency on Aging. And that's your Erie County Area Agency on Aging, which is housed at GCAG. And in those 8 years, a lot has happened, a lot of changes. One of the biggest changes is more older adults. There are more older adults every day. And by 2030, there'll be even more older adults than there are kids 18 and under. And I'll get back to why that's so important right now at this time. But realize the Area Agency on Aging at GCAG is entrusted by federal and state programs to do all sorts of services for older adults. Some of those services, as you all know, are the local community centers, 9 of which we help fund in Erie County, throughout Erie County, in many of your districts. We also provide congregate meals at those senior centers. 30,000 meals a year are provided to people that go to those senior centers. Care services, in-home care services, that's where the true need is. And it's at a difficult time right now because it's a crisis to find caregivers. The long-term care system, as you know from Pleasant Ridge, is under crisis. It's very difficult now. And the funds that Erie County provides the areas on aging, we leverage those with the federal and the state lottery dollar funds, which we're also blessed to have to be able to provide a lot of these services. But the numbers so outweigh the funding we get, which is why the Erie County funds are so critical to continue to receive those. Those in-home services that GCAG provides include home delivered meals on wheels. We do 100,000 of those meals for Erie County individuals, older adults. We do personal care, and that's not provided directly by GCAG. The monies we get go to 25 subcontracted providers to provide those in-home services. So realize that those are small businesses. Those are things that utilize those funds to provide the service. Money doesn't stay at GCAG. It's out there to provide services. The other key area is our volunteerism programs. As you see in the budget, 123,000 and some of these dollars that Erie County provides to GCAG Area Agency on Aging, we in turn draw down nearly $500,000 in federal funds and services for 400 plus volunteers in the retired senior volunteer program. And again, they don't volunteer at GCAG, they volunteer at 30 nonprofits, schools, and areas throughout Erie County, including Glasgow Library. So there's 10 volunteers we have that help out at Glasgow Library. So The last thing I wanted to really hit home was my time up. The last thing I wanted to hit home was older adult protective services. You all know the budget I saw for children and youth increased by $9 million in the proposed budget. We have the same thing for older adults age 60 and older. We provide that critical service to investigate abuse, neglect, and exploitation, and that is just growing. That need is growing by leaps and bounds, and we need these dollars, even though the Erie County funds don't specifically go to that program. By having those dollars to help with our senior centers and our in-home services allows us to expand our older adult protective services, crisis response stuff. So those are the key points I want to make. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Whoever's next. What's your name, where you're from, and your time will start.
Good morning, my name is Beth Turk. Thank you for letting me speak this morning on behalf of the Adult Education Program at GCAP. I'm the program manager and I have been since 2021. And in the last 2 years, we have been blessed with Erie County funding. And I say blessed because I am talking about the blessings to my students. Within our program, we are Erie County's only GED testing center. This is not only our students, this is any student within Erie County who needs to take these tests. Part of the budget is about $25,000 going just to that test lab. This year, I was reached out by the Deputy Warden Bryant at Erie County Prison saying, we have a need here. We have individuals who are taking these classes in our prison. We have no way to test them here. We need to get them tested before they walk out our doors. And from that meeting, in a 5-month-long process to extend our testing capabilities, working with Pearson VUE, who is the only administrator of the GED test in the United States, it took 5 months for me to get a mobile site up and running through their processes to be able to go in. But in August, we were able to go into the prison at no increased cost to the county because I used the county funds as a springboard to be able to go out and acquire other funding to be able to deliver the GED test. And they graduated 6 individuals out of the prison in August and September, and we have more waiting for November to test as they are ready for these testings. Now, what is this going to do for those individuals? It's going to reduce their recidivism rate when they are able to go back out into their communities, community-wide. It is a great impact. It's going to be able to let them get better jobs. It's going to be able to put them in gainful employment situations where it's going to reduce the likelihood of them reverting to the activities that led them to their incarceration in the first place. And we are the agency going in to do that because we're the only one in Erie County. We're the only one in the position to be able to do that in the Erie County community because of dollars coming from the county to be able to do this. So it is, again, a blessing to be able to deliver that. The other part of the request goes to my educators to be able to deliver classes again throughout Erie County. In January, we were able to expand to the Mercy Center for Women and help women and their children coming out of some horrific circumstances and situations earn their GEDs to be able to provide for their families, again, using the county dollars as a springboard to be able to acquire more funds and deliver these programmings to these young mothers who are struggling, who are in some dire consequential situations, to be able to achieve these educational goals and dreams of theirs and be able to provide for their families. We're investing ourselves in new computers. I've been working for 1.5 years to look for other funding to be able to invest in the computers for the GED lab.
Good, finish your sentence.
Okay, to keep us in compliance and actually to be able to even expand testing services and allow even the students within the community to come in and take other certified tests for the industries here in Erie that need those testing done that are not currently available in the Erie community. So I just want to close with, again, these funds are a blessing. Everything we do goes back to the students 100%. And I do use them as a springboard to be able to go out and seek other funding to be able to expand these programs throughout the entire Erie County, not just here in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Give us your name and where you're from.
Good morning, my name is Mary Bell Martin. I'm the manager of the Education, Workforce, and Self-Sufficiency Division at GCAC. Best Adult Education and Basic Literacy Program falls under my supervision. Thank you for letting me speak today. We're fortunate in Erie County to have multiple agencies, two that I know of, offering GED classes to address the problems and the quality of life in Erie County. Because there's multiple classes being offered, it's reasonable and sometimes easy to think that multiple services are being duplicated. I'm here to tell you that's not the way it is. We are unique. GCAC's Adult Basic Literacy and Education Program is unique because of the range of services that we offer. From the aging division to my division, we are able to reach family members and friends of the consumers that we currently serve. Again, because of the range of services that we offer, we can tap into the immigrant refugee populations in Erie County and help them become literate and see better positions as well. As you already know, GCAC has the only licensed GED testing site in Erie County, as Beth explained very well. We are able to do partnerships with other agencies to be able to provide GED testing for those people who are taking classes, whether it's through GCAC or through another agency. We continue to form valuable partnerships with other agencies within Erie County because there's enough need for each one of us to exist. We share resources when possible, but we also each provide our own individual programming targeted toward a specific population. We're currently working with Mercy Center for Women, with the Erie County Community College, and with WQLN, to name a few. Our reach extends not only in Erie City, but into the boroughs and townships of Erie County. We reached the student with dyslexia who was misunderstood by the school and labeled as unmotivated because they didn't understand his diagnosis. After receiving his GED, he was able to join the military and is now, as I know, jumping out of airplanes. We helped a single mother who was promised by her employer that she would be promoted into management if she obtained her GED. She did, and they delivered. We recognize the value of the engineer from Iraq who moved his family from a war zone to Erie, but with all of his education and talent and experience, he could not get a job that was worth his skill level. Last I knew, he was working as a custodian before he joined our GED program. He is now an engineer at a local tech agency, and he's also working weekends in a place at Ashtabula to help them out to get off the ground. He is also volunteering to help prepare taxes for free for people who need that resource for them. So I guess what I'm saying with giving you these stories, and I have many, many more, is that I chose these three because of the outcomes. Number one, each person improved their skill set and their potential by participating in our program. Secondly, each person then took those opportunities to go and better our community. So the money and the funds, as you hear from Matt and you hear from Beth, that just doesn't go into GCAC. We take it, we funnel it, and we use it to reach all aspects of Erie County. I have here in my hand two documents in front. There's one is a list of documents that GED programs provide to communities, and the other is a list of problems that can occur if a GED program is cut. I don't think I have enough time to read all them, but I'll make them available to you if needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you got that right on. Anybody else here would like to say a few words? Okay, just tell us who you are, where you're from, and your time.
Hi, I'm Dina Scribner. I live in the city of Erie, and I'm the executive director of the Mercy Hilltop Senior Center, which is located on East 30th and Pennsylvania Avenue, 16504. I just want to speak very briefly. I don't have anything formally prepared, just on services to seniors, and just to please consider any thoughtfully consider any cuts that could potentially affect seniors. I'm in the field with them every day. And, I think that people's perceptions of senior centers are they come and play bingo, they play cards, they get out of the house. But we have much deeper, much higher level services. We have a part-time nurse and a social worker funded through grants that come through GCAC. And they have uncovered many things that you wouldn't even expect. Many of our attendees to our center are middle class, what we would think of as middle class. And our nurse and social worker in conversations have discovered that there is a lot of food insecurity with inflation and post-pandemic, that people are having to make choices. Do I pay for my prescriptions and skip fresh vegetables? Things like that. We do uncover a lot of things. Our nurse has been able to redirect people, reducing emergency room visits, ultimately taking a burden off the system. And she's done reports that show that there's a cost savings to the healthcare system by programs like our diabetes prevention program, fall reduction programs, and such. And just the summary of that is that the increased costs of the negative effects would need to be covered in some way by the wider community. So the investment in services for seniors is an investment for the whole community. So just please consider that when you're passing the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else that's here in the room? Okay, anybody on Zoom would like to say something, please raise your hand and just tell us who you are and your timer will start.
Art Leopold first.
Thank you. Good.
Hi, good morning, council members, council chairman. Appreciate the opportunity to say a few words. I know it's a difficult task every year looking at the budget. There's always limited resources that are chasing many, many needs. And I appreciate that hard decisions that you have to make. I haven't had an opportunity to look at the budget yet. I don't know if you supply an executive summary of those things that have been reduced, those things that have been increased, those things that need more funding. But it'd be nice if you were able to provide that. If not, obviously we, like you, have to wade through the detail. One of the things I'm hoping is that you're able to resolve the little bit of chaos that occurred in the last budget when there were some vetoes applied and there was some controversy. Be nice to see that resolved before that gets applied again to this budget. Because if we multiply errors, obviously not good. I appreciate the task ahead of you. I will continue to look forward to seeing your deliberations. And I thank you very much.
Thanks, Art. Appreciate it.
Mary, ready?
Okay. Mary, you're up.
Yeah, thanks. I know it's a gargantuan task before you, and I didn't come to to talk on behalf of any one service or thing that stands to be cut. I wasn't sure of the status of any financial advisement that you might be getting, and I wanted to just neutrally mention a few things that I thought you should be aware of, just in case you're not. Under Department of Economic Development, and again, I'm not arguing pro or con for it, but they list revenue fees of $90,000, and it's an increase in fees in the 04210 line of $70,000. The $10,000 that was in there was a marker for potential increases, and just as a matter of good budgeting, unless they have contracts in hand, they don't have any history of having brought money in, the 10,000 marker should stay where it is instead of increasing it by something that we don't know what's going to happen in the absence of a contract, if that is so. It also contains in economic development the 099690 line, a transfer from gaming. And I wanted to mention this because the gaming revenue is overdrawn, which is what Joe warned us about. It has an operating transfer in economic development of $125,000 from gaming. It probably would be better, and this is just a suggestion, to bring $195,000 over from increase the transfer from the general fund. It would be a lot cleaner, and that way you're not stealing from one budget to add to another, only to have to transfer into that because there's not enough money in that one either. The gaming revenue fund balance the gaming revenue fund itself has a fund balance appropriation of $2,796,841. That particular fund should never have a fund balance appropriation. It's a fund that is actually a dedicated fund. And the only thing I can compare it to is if you were a millionaire or a billionaire, even if you had that kind of money, you would not play fast and loose with your money. If you created funds for a certain purpose, dedicated funds, you would keep them in within those purposes, within those uses, because that's prudent to do. The AFSCME contracts, it's been already reported that those numbers were not calculated in. I'm hoping that they have since been calculated in, because it is a large amount. I'm sure it's over $1 million, and it could be well in excess of that. So I hope deliberations don't start without having that in place. In the end, the budget for next year identifies 1.7 million coming from the fund balance. And if we're looking at a tax increase too, I would suggest that you don't do that. Better to do a tax increase once and not do it for several more years if you can do it that way. And also, if there is a draw from the fund balance, just by council legislation alone, either the county executive or county council needs to identify non-recurring expenses that they're charging it to. And that is county established law. Just a couple more things. In the first letter, if I have time, can you hear me?
Mary, I can hear you, but you're at the 4-minute mark. You were over a minute ago. Time flies when you're having fun. So I'm sorry, I do have to cut this off.
I'll send you guys an email. Again, this is not, talking for a certain cause, just trying to give you info. I'll send you an email. Thanks a lot, Brian.
Thank you, Mary. Anybody else on Zoom, please raise your hand so Megan can identify you and bring you on if you have something you'd like to say. Okay, anybody else? I gotta give you 2 calls. Anybody else? Not seeing any. I think we just wrapped up that section. If you guys have any questions, the budget is available for examination in the county council office room 114 for the Erie County courthouse. It's also available online. The next public hearing will be held on Tuesday, November 14th at 2 p.m. in the council chambers in 117 next door. The council will be holding a work section for the budget on Saturday, November 4th. The public is invited to attend via Zoom. And if last questions, concerns, if not, I'll accept the motion for adjournment. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate it.
They probably so.
Right, I guess.